Just like with the Cedar Fair chain, I was hoping to complete the Six Flags Gauntlet in 2021. Well, at least in America. La Ronde and Six Flags Mexico are still on my wish list. I hope to eventually get to both, but it's not possible right now. This past summer, I got to visit the last park I needed in the US, and now I'm ready to rank them up. These are the parks of Six Flags, from worst to best. If you saw my Cedar Fair video, I want to do the same thing here, where I explain exactly what makes each park better than the one before it. This makes my rankings less random, and hopefully I won't get bashed quite as bad in the comments. Also, if you could drop a like on the video, I'd appreciate it. It does really help with the YouTube algorithm. Let's get started. Number 13, Frontier City, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm not happy to call my home park the worst Six Flags park, but there's no way around it. In Frontier City's defense, it's a family theme park. It's an awesome place to take Sophie and spend a day. It doesn't get that crowded. It has a whole water apparatus in the back. It's got a few decent coasters. So yeah, there's really no knock on it. It's the classic case of it is what it is. Six Flags has operated this on and off, most recently getting it back in 2018, and you can't expect a whole lot here. Most of the coasters are old and relocated. There's not a lot of room there unless they expand across the road. And you have to figure, anything they get will have a small footprint. Six Flags upgraded their kiddie coaster in 2019, so that's nice. And I'll look forward to whatever they decide to send our way in the future. Number 12. Great Escape, Queensbury, New York. This was the last park I needed, and I finally got there in July. Just like Frontier City, this park is what it is. It's a family-style park. Also serves as a lodge with an indoor water park. It's not meant to be that much, and it'll never be that much. It has a similar lineup to Frontier City, but Comet is better than anything Frontier City has, especially their wooden coaster, Wildcat. Both parks have a good atmosphere. I just think Great Escape's lineup scores out a little better. Neither park is getting anything good anytime soon, coaster-wise, so I don't expect this ranking to change. Number 11. Six Flags America, Upper Marlboro, Maryland. This park is like a bad supervisor at work. They don't really seem to care about much, so you can get away with a lot. But when you need them to be there, they're nowhere to be found. Very lax rules, very lax atmosphere, but the ops are slow, rides are closed, and if they're open, they break down a lot. There was a time when Six Flags cared about this park. Between 1998 and 2001, they added 6 new coasters, but since then, they have 2 relocations and that's it. The park is in a good location, near Baltimore and Washington, so I don't know why Six Flags stopped caring about this place. They do have a nice collection of coasters, and that really saves the park. Superman Ride of Steel is a very solid hyper. Any park with an Intamin Mega coaster can't be that low. Batwing is a rare Vekoma flying coaster. Joker's Jinx is a good launch looper, and Wild One is a very good old wooden coaster, even though that predates the Six Flags years. They also have 3 god-awful coasters in Mind Racer, Roar, and Firebird, but I still rank this over the Great Escape just because of those big-time coasters. Those make this a legit Six Flags park, even though they've been mistreated by the chain for 2 decades now. Number 10. Six Flags St. Louis, Eureka, Missouri. This is a very interesting park with 3 solid and unique wooden coasters, and 6 steel coasters that are either clones or just god-awful. None of the parks that I've mentioned so far have gotten a good new coaster in over 10 years, and you can add St. Louis to that list. American Thunder is the best quality coaster there, and that was their last new coaster, added back in 2008. They added the Boomerang from Six Flags Over Texas in 2013, and they've been riding those 9 coasters for 8 years now. It almost seems like this park is stuck in time. Rides like Ninja have no reason to exist in 2021, but Six Flags keeps it around, just because this is St. Louis. Batman the Ride, Mr. Freeze, Pandemonium. These are all strong coasters, even if they have clones all over the place. Screamin' Eagle is a good old wooden coaster, and the Boss. Well, it's big, but it needs a lot of help. That's my opinion. Others love it, I don't. This park is pretty solid in the upper end of the lower tier. I've only been here once, but I felt the park was run better than Six Flags America, and its lineup is a little stronger all around. American Thunder is the best coaster in either park. Mr. Freeze is universally loved, and some people think that's the park's best ride. I think these 2 parks are close, but for now, I have to give St. Louis the edge. Number 9. Six Flags Darien Lake, Darien Center, New York. This park gets flamed a lot. I admit, I've only been here once, so I can't say they're wrong for doing so, but I can only rank this based on my experience, and I thought the park was really good. They only have 1 train for their coasters, except Tantrum, and that can be problematic on busy days, but I got lucky when I was there, and I didn't wait much for anything. I thought the park was beautiful with the lake centerpiece. They have the original Ride of Steel, which is an excellent ride, even better than the one at Six Flags America. Tantrum is a unique coaster for a Six Flags park, a Gerstlauer Eurofighter that was added right before Six Flags took over the park in 2018. Like Frontier City, this has been in and out of the Six Flags chain in the past, and it's been back for 3 years now. There are some bad coasters here, like Predator and Mind Racer, but Viper and Moto Coaster make for a pretty good supporting cast. It may be controversial to rank this ahead of St. Louis, but I think Ride of Steel stacks up with American Thunder. Mr. Freeze may have the edge on Tantrum, and as you go down the line, it's pretty comparable. When you look at these two parks objectively, maybe St. Louis has the better setting, but I had a better time at Darien Lake, and I thought it had a better atmosphere. If I were to revisit both these parks, I would probably change my mind, but as it stands right now, Darien Lake is number 9. Number 8. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, Vallejo, California. This is really an underrated park. I think it gets thumped on a little too much, but it combines thrilling coasters with wildlife. Joker, Medusa, Superman Ultimate Flight, The Flash. These are awesome. There isn't a whole lot beyond this worth mentioning. Kong is terrible. Harley Quinn was terrible and now it's gone, but I think it has enough at the top to give it an edge over Darien Lake. An RMC hybrid is an RMC hybrid, even if it's one of the weaker ones. Medusa is a floorless you actually want to ride. Then you have your launch coasters. These may be compact, but they're full of forces and you can't miss them. You have to keep in mind, coasters aren't their only focus. They direct a lot of money and resources to their animals. It's not going to be a pure thrill park. They do a great job working around that 150-foot height limit, but it does hold them back from doing bigger and better things. With Six Flags budget, I don't think it comes into play that much. Number 7. Six Flags Over Texas, Arlington, Texas. The original Six Flags park hasn't exactly gotten the best treatment over the last 20 years. You'd think being the only park in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they'd get a little more attention. Not to mention, the corporate office is just down the road in Grand Prairie. The park isn't neglected. I just don't think their additions have been that good. They focused on flat rides more so than coasters, and they've built up a pretty good collection. But since they opened Titan in 2001, they got a Pandemonium clone, the RMC conversion of Texas Giant, and then a Joker clone. Now they're getting the Power Splash in Aquaman. I think that's a really weak addition for a park that needs something more substantial. Over Texas is a little weak at the top. New Texas Giant is a long but mild RMC. Shockwave is a great old school Schwarzkopf, loaded with positive and negative Gs. Mr. Freeze packs a huge punch. Titan is big, but it's pretty pointless. And from there, you have a very decent collection of supporting coasters. It seems like I'm trashing this park after praising Discovery Kingdom, but their top tier coasters are very similar, and Over Texas's lineup goes way deeper. 13 coasters versus 9, each one getting a decent new ride for 2022. When I say that Over Texas is the better park, I don't think I'm going too much out on a limb. Number 6. Six Flags Over Georgia, Austell, Georgia. I've been here 3 times now, and my opinion of the park's ops keeps improving. I guess my big problem was with the food service, so who really cares about that in the grand scheme? I didn't stay long in 2021, but I thought it was fine. Over Georgia has 11 coasters, and I think it's a really unique collection. You have your RMC and B&M Hyper. That makes for a great 1-2 punch. Then you have the supporting coasters that you aren't going to find anywhere else. Sure, there's a Batman and a Superman, but you also have Mindbender, Blue Hawk, Daredevil Dive, and Great American Scream Machine. It may try to kill you, but it's still fun. I think Over Georgia has a far superior collection to Over Texas. They don't have a launch coaster to match up to Mr. Freeze, but Goliath stomps all over Titan, and Blue Hawk and Superman don't have an equal in Texas. Give me Georgia over Texas any day of the week. Number 5. Six Flags New England, Agawam, Massachusetts. My third trip in 2021 was a lot less impressive than my first 2. My problem being the ride operations this time around, but I'm still willing to put this at number 5 in the chain. The lineup isn't as deep as Over Georgia, and I think this park is really top heavy. They have a lot of filler in the middle and the bottom. Batman the Dark Knight and Riddler Revenge are a lot of fun, but after that, you got nothing but clones, plus Thunderbolt, which doesn't really do anything for me. I love the small town vibe of the park, right between the road and the river, and I think each themed area is done pretty well, so that all helps. But this is all about that 1-2 punch. In my opinion, I should say, in my unpopular opinion, Six Flags New England has the best 1-2 punch in the country. Over Georgia also has a good RMC Hyper 1-2 punch, but Twisted Cyclone doesn't stack up to Wicked Cyclone, and Goliath isn't quite as good as Superman the Ride. I have so much fun at this park. I wish it wasn't so far away from me. Number 4. Six Flags Fiesta Texas, San Antonio, Texas. Some people may put this park at number 1 for its theming, atmosphere, and setting, not to mention the coaster collection. I don't think it quite stacks up to the big boys in the huge markets, but as far as the second tier of Six Flags parks goes, this is top notch. The quarry wall makes for a setting you aren't going to find anywhere else in America, and 3 of their coasters make use of that wall. This means you have awesome custom layouts. Superman Krypton Coaster carried this park for over 10 years, an outstanding B&M floorless, and most people seem to think this is the number 1 floorless in the world. RMC came in during the 2010s and really bolstered that lineup. First Iron Rattler in 2013, then Wonder Woman in 2018, and now in 2022, B&M is making the grand return, introducing a compact dive coaster. There's not a bad ride here. They're great at the top and the middle, something New England is lacking, and as much as I love New England's atmosphere, Fiesta Texas has it beat. I know this park gave me the worst day I've ever spent at a park. That crowded day when all the rides were shut down for wind, but that's 1 day out of 5, so I can give it a pass. They also have laser shows on the quarry wall and fireworks at night. This park just knows how to get it done, and they seem to have it all together. Number 3. Six Flags Great Adventure, Jackson, New Jersey. I had this ranked as my number 1 Six Flags park forever, and that was mainly due to El Toro. This remains the best Six Flags coaster, but the rest of the park kinda drags it down. My biggest problem is their random camera policies. They get really weird with 360 cameras, and also professional cameras, and it seems like a totally unnecessary way to make the guest stay worse. They're also overly cautious about loose articles, making you get a locker, and patting down your pockets to prove they're empty on the biggest and newest rides. I know there have been incidents, but other parks somehow get by without doing this. So again, it's another way to make guests stay worse. But you can look past all that and appreciate the 14 coaster lineup. It's not the deepest lineup, but I wouldn't call it top heavy either. El Toro is joined by Kingda Ka and Nitro, and this year they even have Jersey Devil. I didn't like it that much, but apparently it gets better once it gets warmed up. There are 5 B&M coasters here and all of them are good. I think there's more to do here than Fiesta Texas. They have a very good hyper, unlike Fiesta Texas. The world's tallest and second fastest coaster speaks for itself, and El Toro is a trump card for almost any argument. Number 2. Six Flags Great America, Gurnee, Illinois. I wanted to put this number 1, and maybe I would have done it if I was more impressed with Max Force. It just didn't do much for me past the launch, and when you compare this to the launch coaster that my number 1 park also got for 2019, there's no comparison. Great America is in a great location. It has great operations. I've always had so much fun here every time. Raging Bull is so good, it's addicting. Goliath may be short, but it's rapid fire and intense, and it keeps reminding me why it's so good. American Eagle, X-Flight, Viper, Superman, the original Batman, and don't sleep on the Wizard. These build a really strong supporting cast. Great ops, great rides, airtime machines, intensity machines. This is incredibly well-rounded, and it's a park without any major gaps. It's a big, strong collection of coasters, just like Great Adventure, just without the annoying policies. Great Adventure burdens you, Great America welcomes you, and that's why it grabs the number 2 spot. Number 1. Six Flags Magic Mountain, Valencia, California. I had to bring this up from number 2 to number 1. They're getting ready to open their 20th coaster next year, Wonder Woman Flight of Courage. This was my home park, and I was more critical than I should have been. No annoying policies, good operations, a great setting around the hill, and coasters everywhere you look. The park needed an airtime machine, and they got one in Twisted Colossus. People were sleeping on West Coast Racers, and it turned out to be a top 3 coaster in the park. Full Throttle, Apocalypse, Viper, Tatsu, Riddler's Revenge. Those are all top-tier supporting coasters. But there is one thing that Magic Mountain has that no other park has an answer for. The true X factor in the battle of all the Six Flags parks. And that's X2. There's nothing else like this in the country, and 20 years after it opened, we are very lucky to still have this around. Great America matches up really well with Magic Mountain. If we were doing a coaster battle, Great America and Magic Mountain would be really close. Great America has a clear edge on hypers and wooden coasters, but Magic Mountain has X2, and they also have a deeper bench of supporting coasters, so I give Magic Mountain the edge. It's not the best park in the world. I'm not even sure it cracks my top 5, but in my opinion, it is the best park in the chain. So there you have it, my ranking of all the Six Flags parks. Let me know what you think, if you have any big problems where any of these parks rank, and where you would put them. This is totally subjective, and I know I have weird taste, so if you think I'm crazy, or maybe spot on, sound off in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like and give me a sub, and check out my video from last week where I ranked all the Cedar Fair parks. Also, check out my links below for my Discord server, as well as my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.